I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! We need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
All right. What's up, guys? Monday night. Sorry, I slept a little late. I must be getting old, man. I just want to sleep. Can a man just sleep? All the time. I just want to sleep. What do we got today? We got Iran stuff. Iran protests. Dude, earlier in the week, they were saying 2,000 killed. Now I'm seeing 18,000 killed. What the heck is going on over there? They threatened Trump. They made a little jokey joke about threatening Trump's life. Not a good jokey joke. Then relating to that, we have the Uhaul truck that drove through the crowd, which apparently I think that guy's only getting charged with reckless driving, misdemeanor, and that maybe he wasn't actually trying to hurt anybody. I don't know. We'll watch the video, but I don't know if they've told us like a motive yet, or if he says he wasn't trying to like hurt anybody in the crowd, and I think only one person got injured. So tired, boss. Mass deleted. Oh, in Iran? Yeah, lots of them. It's crazy. And they're threatening Trump. That's a problem. And then what else do we got? Trump's healthcare plan, the Great American Health Plan, which kind of ties in with RFK flipping over the food pyramid. We'll look at that stuff. And then I got some things in rapid fire news. Some stories in rapid fire news about the Supreme Court voting on trans rights. Trans rights. We're here. We're queer. We're here. We're trans. We are not really mans. I don't know what they say. So that's the plan. And then gonna try to do something different. U-Haul protester. He wasn't protesting U-Haul. How do I do this? Questions for end of show. Start a Q&A. Ask questions for the end of show. Ask me interesting questions in that thing, and I'll answer them at the end. Super chats get priority. So for the last, now why did... Oh, I see. Okay. I've never done one of these things. All right. So now you can put questions in there for the end of the show. Super chats get priority. We'll spend the last little chunk of the show just hanging out reading these. But, all right, let's get into it. Let me, I knew this was not going to be right. Hold on one second. I'm having little bit of... I should have set this up beforehand. Okay, let's watch a video of what's going on in Iran. It's crazy. The masses of people in the streets are huge. Why are you gay?
Executions for protesters as the death toll from nationwide demonstrations reaches at least 2,500.
Now, is the death toll from the demonstrations, or is the death toll because the government is going in there and hanging people publicly? They said death toll from the demonstrations. I thought the huge death toll was from people getting killed by the government. Weren't they hanging like hundreds of people every day?
571 people. The judiciary chief says if we want to do something, we have to do it quickly. His comments come despite warnings from the president, who says the U.S. will take, quote, very strong action if Iran executes protesters. And earlier today, Iran held a mass funeral for 300 security force members killed in the demonstrations over the last week. Meanwhile, activists say Starlink is now offering free internet services to help Iranians get around government shutdowns.
Yeah, but they have to like risk going and logging into a Starlink server, and the government's watching that. So it's very risky. I don't know if I would advise jumping on Starlink from Iran right now.
Scripps News international correspondent Stuart Smith joins me now live from outside the Iranian embassy in London with more on this developing story. Stuart, good morning. Iran continues to take a strong stance against these protests and the comments coming out here from the U.S. President Donald Trump about a potential military response. What more can you tell us?
The United States is an attempt to destabilize the political situation for gain, and also that this is an excuse for Washington to intervene. That threat of intervention still very much on the cards. Reportedly, diplomatic
on the cards. Let's see what the Hill's saying. Iran protests. Hey, okay. I'll save that for the end of the show. Thank you. Birds aren't real. Okay, I'll answer that at the end of the show. All right. A human rights group on Saturday found that the number of deaths during widespread anti-government protests. Watch these numbers rise. Like, you see 2,000 in that video. Then this Hill article says 3,300, and then eventually we get to 18,000. So I don't know what's propaganda or what's real. Let's see what they're saying here. Oh, that's irrelevant. A human rights group on Saturday found that the number of deaths during widespread anti-government protests in Iran has reached over 3,300. The human rights group activists news agency verified the latest death toll after 3 weeks of protest, with 4,382 cases that the group said are still under review. So far, 2,100 people with severe injuries have been identified, and the arrest of at least 24,266 individuals has been confirmed. Arrest 24,000 people, and a lot of them are going to be executed. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei said several thousands of people have been killed. He blamed the U.S. for backing the protests and for the deaths, claiming it is a U.S. attempt to devour Iran. We do not intend to lead the country toward war, Khamenei said in one of several posts on the platform X. Oh, he's posted on X. This is how like presidents communicate nowadays. They chat on X. That's crazy. However, we will not just let go of the criminals inside the country either. Worse than the internal criminals are the international criminals. We will not let go of them either. Khamenei wrote in a separate post that Iran has extinguished the fire of sedition, but the U.S. must be held accountable. The Supreme Leader also accused Israel of collaborating with the U.S. to commit heinous crimes in Iran. He said these crimes include vandalizing 250 mosques and over 250 educational and scientific institutions. They damaged the power grids, banks, and healthcare facilities, Khamenei wrote in another X post. They murdered several thousand people. He's talking about the protesters or America, or Trump has warned of military action if Iran does not call off its security forces to stop killing protesters. He appeared to back off his threat after protests appeared to die down earlier this week. On Friday, he thanked Tehran for not executing hundreds of protesters. Right. They said they were going to execute 900 people on Friday. And Trump says he stopped it. But we don't know if that's inevitable, or if that's in perpetuity, I guess, if that's going to stay. So we'll see. What's up, Reed? Elder Lion, shout out. John Batt. Seems space to me. Where was I? The tone changed after the interview with Politico on Saturday when he said it was time to look for new leadership in Iran. In backing regime change, Trump slammed Khomeini's leadership, saying leadership is about respect, not fear and death. The man is a sick man who should run his country properly and stop killing people. Trump said, his country is the worst place to live anywhere in the world because of poor leadership. All right, so that's from The Hill. But then we jump to Fox. Fox is saying Iran accused of killing 16,500 people in sweeping genocide crackdown report. Utter slaughter described as accounts of gunfire, blindings, and executions by hanging make their way out of Iran. Iran protesters are facing their deadliest days yet as security forces unleash mass killings and executions and a sweeping crackdown some have labeled genocide. And that's the death toll gets higher in the next article.
Is at the White House tonight with the latest. Good evening, Rich.
Hi, good evening, Brett. Leaders around the world, especially those in Tehran,
I think this next New York Post headline says 18,000.
Going to respond to those reports of thousands of protesters dead in Iran. He'll have options as senior officials discuss strategy at the White House today. Iranians are scouring morgues to identify their loved ones. Estimates suggest their government has killed thousands of citizens.
Dang, could you imagine just walking through thousands of dead bodies, unzipping body bags and looking at all these dead people's faces to see if it's your family member? It's crazy. Now, to be fair, I understand. I never trust anything from the media. I never trust any foreign stuff about wars or...
And Trump is warning that Iran
I don't know how
is
much
starting
of this
to
is
cross
like
US red lines
propaganda
on
and just
protester
meant
deaths.
One death is too much, but I hear much lower numbers and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price.
As anti-regime protests spread, the Iranian government is blocking the internet. And there are reports security services have shoot-to-kill orders. Iran's government is pushing to
I mean, these people look like hoodlums, these protesters. They look more just like rioters. Are they peaceful protesters or are they rioting everywhere?
Negotiations in an effort to avoid potential U.S. strikes. Iran says its foreign minister reached out to White House envoy Steve Witkoff.
You're a homeless man.
President Trump is publicly shutting down any personal diplomacy. He posted, quote, Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian
I don't know if
officials
that's a good move.
until the senseless
Encouraging
killing of
them?
protesters stops. Help is on its way. As for what that help will be,
You're going to have to figure that one out. I'm sorry.
the White House says senior officials,
You're gonna
including
have
the
to figure that
Secretary
out,
of State
Piggy.
and War and the CIA director discussed options for the president this morning at a regularly scheduled national security meeting. A source familiar says the vice president led a separate later meeting this afternoon with the national security team. A spokesman for the vice president is denying a report that Vance is urging the president to try diplomacy before strikes against Iran. Iran's supreme leader has posted insults towards President Trump. Germany's chancellor predicts Iran will soon have a new government.
That wasn't even the bad one. That wasn't even the bad one, what they showed. I'm going to show you the more egregious one.
Through violence,
they basically threatened Trump's life.
I assume that we are now...
I don't care what this German dude's talking about. Violence as an utter slaughter, warning that the true toll may be even higher due to restricted access to hospitals and the near total shutdown of communication. So this is Fox on yesterday saying 1650. New York Post over 16K from the 17th. But I think we have one where it's at like 18,000. Maybe not, 16K. Iranian regime has killed at least 16,005 people and injured over 330,000 more as they continue to ruthlessly target demonstrators and even uninvolved civilians in nationwide anti-government protests, a shocking new report claims. Now, see, this is something that I don't think we need to get involved with. Let them kill each other. Let them go crazy in their streets. If, let's say we keep having these protests against ICE people and people keep getting hurt and killed when ICE is trying to do their job. So Trump sends in the military to, handle the situation. We wouldn't want Iran coming in and threatening us because we're handling our protesters or rioters. In the same way, we don't need to be getting involved with how they handle their protesters and rioters. Is it bad that they've killed 16,500 people? Yes, that's crazy. But, I mean, I don't care. It's none of my business. But I'm sure we'll have to get involved and do something because we can't just let world leaders, ruthlessly kill thousands of people. But I don't see getting involved in this being nearly as justifiable as Venezuela. I think these are totally different situations. What else we got? So here's where they threaten them. So Secret Service aware after Iranian state TV airs Trump threat featuring photo of Butler assassination attempt. They're basically, and this is what these Middle Eastern terrorists do, is they take responsibility. They claim that they did things that they didn't do, which may have been, something that they did during 9/11. They take what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability? No, they claim stuff. They're claiming that they're the ones who took the shot at Trump, and they said this time we won't miss. And they put up a picture of him with his bloody ear. Iranian state television aired a vile threat against President Donald Trump earlier this week. Okay. All right. Avarice wants an urban adventure. Got it. Get it. Got it. Good. Near assassination while on the campaign trail in Butler, Pennsylvania, the clip showed a sign held by a demonstrator at a pro-Iranian regime gathering. The sign featured a now iconic photo of Trump standing on stage with a bloodied ear after being grazed by a bullet at the Butler campaign stop while Secret Service agents rushed to his aid. The caption below the photo, written in Farsi, said, "This time, the bullet won't miss," according to I-24 News correspondent Amatya Stein, who posted the screenshot. So this is the sign. So their protesters have signs threatening Trump's life, and these are the protesters that are getting killed. Oh my God. Normally I'd say stop spamming, but if you guys want to spam super chats about how much you want an urban adventure, then that's fine.
Tonight, President Trump is sending mixed messages to the Iranian people. After promising that help is on the way to protect Iranian demonstrators, he now says the Iranian government is easing up its
They want urban adventures.
And they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place.
The State Department had specifically mentioned 26-year-old Iranian protester Efran Soltani, scheduled to be executed today, according to his family. Human rights groups say Iran has killed at least 2,500 people over the last 2 weeks to crush the uprising and detained more than 18,000. Today, Iran's foreign minister told Fox News the government was fighting against armed terror cells that killed dozens of security forces.
They got police officers, burned them alive, they beheaded them, and they started shooting at police officers and also to the people.
I mean, if there's a reason to... Thank you. All right. Dang it. I got to edit my Florida Christmas video. Dang it. I'll get it done. That's the next thing we got to do. All right. I'm prepping for debates. Like my life depends on it, man.
After teetering, the Iranian government appears to be finding its feet, with government supporters flooding the streets. The opposition.
I don't even have time to sleep adequately. Can we do a sleep adventure? What if we do a stream where I just sleep? Thank you for the membership, though.
Position now coming out mostly at night, according to a witness. President Trump says he's in dialogue with the Iranian government.
They said people were shooting at them with guns and they were shooting back.
Okay.
And, they told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now?
Oh, my Lord. Okay. Thank you. Keep them coming, but okay. What do you want me to do? Just like go run outside right now? It's cold out there. Oh, my message didn't work. What you did a message with your membership? Dang.
Off the table against Iran?
And we're going to watch and see what the process.
Guys, make sure you're subscribed because I'm trying to get to 6,000 subs, and it's like I gain like 5 and then I lose 3. And then I gain 4 and then I lose 3. And then I gain 2 and I lose 2. And then I gain 5 and I lose 4. Okay.
President Trump could be buying time to reposition military assets. Today, some troops were evacuated from a base in Qatar that was attacked by Iran last summer. Tom?
We thank you for watching. And
you're supposed to be super chatting questions that I can answer at the end of the show. In the last bit, you can ask questions for free or you can super chat questions and they get priority, but it gives me something to do for the last hour. We can answer the deep questions. Don't scam. There are sleep streams on Friday. So, not always. Sometimes. Josh gets 6K shows and he shows off the nips. No. I didn't make that deal.
Remember, stay updated on...
I did not make that deal. Okay, so that's what's going on in Iran. The sound effects. I can't. I can't. So that's what's going on with the protests in Iran. Do I think Trump needs to drop a bomb on Iran to stop the protesters? Probably not. I don't think I'm not as interested in getting involved with that as I am with the Venezuela situation, but we'll see what happens, what Trump does. He's unpredictable, so who knows? But meanwhile, here in LA, on the home front, relating to these Iran protesters, we had this Uhaul drives through a crowd. Now, on the first video I saw, I was like, it looks like that guy is just parked there. And they all start attack, but he has a sign on the side of his U-Haul, so they start attacking his U-Haul, so he floors it to get out of there. That's what it looked like to me. But then I hear reporters, and they're like, this disgusting human being drove through a crowd, and God knows the calamity that he caused. Well, now we know one person got injured, and not even seriously injured. And he was like, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, but they were going to kill him. They like dragged him out of the U-Haul and they were going to kill him. Now, I don't know what his motives are yet. They're not telling us. I think I do have an article where we can find out more. But first, let's see the carnage, quote unquote. Really, there's no carnage here. There's nothing graphic to be seen here because nobody gets hurt. The only graphic part is where they're trying to get the guy out of the U-Haul and it looks like they're going to rip him to pieces.
Happening right now in West LA. Air 7 was overhead right when a large crowd got going after someone into a U-Haul. Now, to put some context to this entire situation, there was a planned protest for 2 o'clock this afternoon outside the federal building in Westwood. That protest
this is them trying to pull him out of the U-Haul.
Iranian regime rally. Well, about 3:30
see the cops are there though.
Just
cops
as Air
here.
7 flew over this
cops
protest
shoving
to kind of
people
get
back.
eyes on what
All
was
the cops
happening.
are trying to keep
This is
people
what
back.
happened. That U-Haul drove through a very large crowd of protesters. It's difficult to tell how many people. We are told by LAPD nobody was injured in this, but you can see
this dude just got in and rocked him in the face.
Very tense situation. There was a driver inside that U-Haul. You can see him interacting
this guy's stabbing him with a
protesters
flagpole.
or jabbing flagpoles and all sorts of objects through the window at him. What you cannot see in this video, on the other side of that U-Haul, there are Iranian signs that have some sort of message written on them. Whatever was going on in this crowd, people were unhappy, perhaps also scared, because there was a U-Haul truck driving through this massive crowd.
Yeah,
of
my
people.
show's
As
hijacked
you
by
can
super
imagine, this
chats.
created
Hey, I like
quite a
that.
scene. We're going to let this video play out for you. This was just about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
But I
so
want
a
to
little
see the
more than
start
an
of it.
hour ago. I'm sorry, 3:30. This was just less than an hour ago. And as this
probably saw
video
the
plays
video
out,
from
we've
the
watched it
past
here
of
a few
people
times in
being
the
pulled from
newsroom. You can
cars
see
and
the crowd
executed.
physically pulls that driver out of the U-Haul cab. And as they are doing so, you can see people in the crowd going after him. What you can't tell there, those are LAPD officers that are also
This
involved
guy's stomping
in
in the
pulling
window
driver
right now.
out of that truck, trying to take.
Dude, U-Haul's going to be pissed. What did U-Haul do to you guys? Why are you smashing the window in? It's not U-Haul's fault.
That person into custody. And as police officers are doing it, the crowd is going after that person, trying to physically harm them. It is a very,
Some of
very
those
tense
loiterers.
situation.
There's
And
always
what we're
somebody
going to see
hanging
here
out
is
outside
police
that gas
ultimately
station.
walk this person through that angry crowd of people and take that person into custody. But all the while, people in this protest crowd are going after this person. As we mentioned, this was an anti-Iranian regime rally protest that was planned in Westwood, outside the federal building.
Anti-Iranian
You can tell
regime change
this is a very
protest?
large crowd. Now, this comes on top of protests that have been unfolding.
So are they
all week and
pro-
getting increasingly tense?
Anti-Iranian
in Iran, and
regime
also
change means that these protesters are pro the Iranian government, which means these protesters would be against the protesters in Iran. And maybe he's pro-protester and anti-government, which is why, I don't know, I'm confused.
here in the United States. This started in Iran as sort of an economic protest. When shops started closing, the currency is devolving under the regime.
That guy ran up and
People
rocked
there
him in the back of
streets
the
are beginning
head.
to revolt. So wait, hold on. I want you to watch this video here. That is police taking the driver of that U-Haul away while protesters continue to chase the person who is in police custody. We do know that no ambulances were called. Police have said nobody was injured. That person is now being walked away, and the driver of that U-Haul is
What?
in LA
Did you see that?
custody.
Yo, did the cop shoot him with a taser? Watch this guy run up with a flagpole from the back and just go whap right on his head, but it looks like he hits the cop's arm.
That person is now
Watch.
being walked away, and the
Dude
driver
runs
of
up,
that U-Haul is in
boom!
LA
He hit, but he hit the
custody.
cop's arm.
We will
Cop's
then find
pissed.
out more information
You missed,
about
dude.
what exactly happened here, if this was intentional, what the means
How do
were
you miss?
behind all of this. But as you can also see to the left, that's Air 7 streaming live right now. That protest has gotten even larger. There are hundreds of people out there in the street in Westwood protesting outside of the federal building.
Shipping 10,000 packages a month.
Crazy. Okay, so U-Haul truck drives through Iran protest crowd in Los Angeles. One person struck and driver detained. Is this gonna... I want to see from the beginning.
Shopify's point-of-sale system.
One person was struck after a U-Haul truck drove through a crowd during a Los Angeles protest in support of anti-regime demonstrators in Iran. With the driver taken in... Drove through a crowd during a Los Angeles protest in support of anti-regime demonstrators in Iran. I'm confused. But watch, this is from the beginning. I mean, see, of course he's flooring it. He's got people, monkeys hanging on the side of his U-Haul trying to break his window. Ah, crap. Am I going to have to watch an ad again?
Shopify point of sale.
God. We had it going. At approximately 1530 hours, the driver of a U-Haul truck collided with individuals marching along Veteran Avenue in the area of the federal building. We got this guy riding on the side. These guys are all chasing it. Is that a Mexican? Are those Mexican flags? Those are Iran flags. Well, I saw reporting on this when it first happened, and they're like, it was absolutely horrible and disgusting. This man just plowed through people at a crowd at a protest. He didn't hit nobody.
All right, come here. Come here. This is what the news is not going to show you. About 15 minutes ago, a pro-Khamenei, pro-regime driver took this U-Haul truck.
So pro-regime of Iran, and they're pro-regime change or anti-regime. They're anti-regime and he's pro-regime. He says this is what the news is not going to show you. Bro, this is the only thing the news showed us.
And decided to drive right through a crowd of protesters. Come closer. Come see what happened.
You guys were in the middle of the road.
I'm going to show you other video that shows exactly the moment when the crowd actually turned on him, surrounded him, broke into the U-Haul, and attacked him in every angle possible. Okay, yeah, your video.
This guy with an American flag sewn together with an Iran flag. Why does this guy push the black woman into him? All right. Content starts in 3, 2, 1. Okay. 3-3, blah, 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 blah. Police say a male driver has been detained pending further investigation.
Point-of-sale system.
I think I have something about the driver, the motive of him. At this time, one person was confirmed struck by the vehicle, an adult male. However, no significant injuries have been reported. A rescue ambulance treated the individual at the scene. No one has been transported to the hospital for medical treatment. So, minimal, one guy got bumped into. But I don't even know whose side I'm on in this. I don't care. Why are we protesting for either against or for the Iranian regime in California? Because there's a bunch of damn immigrants over there. That's why. Man accused of recklessly driving U-Haul into Iran protests in Los Angeles, police say. There's Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightweight. But one of these articles, I have like an interview with him. He's talked since he's been arrested. Steering a U-Haul truck toward a Los Angeles demonstration of it. This is AP. In support of Iran's protest, was arrested on suspicion of reckless driving, but was not formally charged and was subsequently released Monday. So he's already been released. Los Angeles Police Department said in a press release that officers monitoring the protest Sunday stopped the box truck and directed the driver to turn around as he was approaching a large crowd. But he meant to go there. That's why he had those signs on the side of the U-Haul. Video posted on social media shows the truck speeding down a road where protesters were gathered on the sidewalk as some shout in surprise. After police stopped the truck, protesters descended on it and tore off a banner that read, "No Shah, no regime, USA, don't repeat 1953, no mullah." Mullah, like Young Money. The crowd attacked the driver, who then drove toward a group of officers as demonstrators jumped out of the way. The department said officers then formed a line between the crowd and the driver before taking him into custody. Police initially said one person was hit by the truck, but on Monday, the department said no one was struck. 2 people declined treatment after the paramedics evaluated them at the scene, the fire department said. Probably illegal immigrants. That's why they don't want no medical help. Where's the article that
Right now on the special edition of the NBC4 News, a U-Haul truck drove through a crowd of protesters in Westwood. We're bringing you this breaking news as we cap off the wild card game right here on NBC4. Our Olivia Garvey will bring you highlights, and we have full fan reaction coming up.
Let's take a break from football and find out about a truck driving through a crowd.
Out of Westwood, where one person is injured, one person was detained after a protest organized in support of the Iranian people who are pushing for regime change.
The new footage is
more than 500 killed. So this is 7 days ago. This
coming
is
in from
when the death toll was still low. It's like every day it jumped up 1,000.
showing
people.
widespread.
But I want to find the article that I have that is like a. Okay, this is him. On Friday, last Sunday, Kaylor Madanesht drove a U-Haul truck into the middle of an anti-Iranian regime protest at the Westwood. So he's pro-Iranian regime. I had no intention to hurt anybody, he said. The people who support me with LAPD, they tried to open a path. I came to deliver the Iranian voices from inside Iran, not what American people see on TV. What do you mean? By driving through the crowd? That's how you bring them the voice of Iran? Air 7 captured exclusive video of Madanesht being pulled from the U-Haul by police. He was arrested for reckless driving, which is a misdemeanor. Protesters battled with Madanesht to get him to stop the truck. The majority of the demonstrators were supporting me. Were they? the small minority of pro-Shah group were the only ones that attacked me, and they did not agree. Yeah, well, it looked like everybody was trying to attack you, my boy. The video tells a different story. The protesters believe Madanesh was targeting them based on the political messages he hung on his U-Haul, including one that read, "No Shah." He did a terrible decision by coming with an unlicensed truck into the crowd and smashing people, said Shan Zorabi, who attended the protest. You have something to say? Hold something in your hand and come do your protest, your opposition. Come make your argument. But running people down with the truck is a terrible thing to do. It's a terrorist act and doesn't help anything. Nearly 3 weeks of protest against the Iranian regime has resulted in a crackdown by security forces. Demonstrators in opposition to the rising inflation and falling value of the national currency. United States-based human rights activist news agency says at least 3,000 people have been killed, more than 18,000 arrested. On the government side, 153 members of security forces have been killed. So they're killing government people over there too. It's not just like the government's just indiscriminately killing people. People are helpless inside Iran, under pressure, economically, said Zorabi. No freedom. Nobody can get their voice out, and we're trying to be their voice here, living outside the country, and let the whole world know what's going on the inside. Okay, thank you. Ew, what is that? Okay. So that's what's going on with the Iran stuff and the U-Haul. So that's that. What do we got? Nice voice acting. I try. Last thing in this main lineup of news that we got is Trump's great healthcare plan. So Obama's Affordable Care Act came to an end. They could, re-sign it and put it back, keep it going, add some years to it. Trump said, nope, I got a new healthcare plan. The great healthcare plan. The great healthcare plan. So, and of course, left-wing media is all dogging on this and saying that there's nothing there. It's not actually a healthcare plan. So we're going to look at some of those critiques. But first, we're going to read it straight from whitehouse.gov to see what Trump's saying about it. And then we'll watch what Trump's saying about it. And this kind of ties in with what RFK's Jr. is doing with the food pyramid. So we'll look at that here in a little bit. But we basically flipped the food pyramid upside down so that now it's what it should be. It's always been ass backwards. They had us eating Little Debbie cakes. Number one meal of the day is breakfast. Breakfast, the number one meal of the day. What do I eat for breakfast? Well, some sugary cereal, some pancakes, some toast, then some French toast, then a bagel. Oh, so basically a carbo load for breakfast. First thing in the day. That's what's healthy? That's what we're supposed to do? No. How about you eat one meal a day before you go to bed and it be heavy protein? Little bit of veggies, maybe a little bit of fruit. Less of the carbs, less of the Little Debbie cakes, less bread. There you go. But no, breakfast, most important meal of the day. Just eat a bunch of garbage for breakfast. That's healthy. President Donald J. Trump's great healthcare plan is a broad healthcare initiative that will slash prescription drug prices, reduce favored nations thing that he's doing. He's saying America should get our drug prices cheaper than all of our competitors because we keep them safe. We provide a lot of the innovation and the supplies and the protections for them to produce these things. So we shouldn't be paying the most money for these medicines. We should be paying the least for these medicines. I don't know why we don't just make them ourselves over here. Reduce insurance premiums, hold big insurance companies accountable, and maximize price transparency in the American healthcare system, which is what people like Ben Shapiro and Crowder and all the old school conservative talking heads have been talking about this for decades. We want transparency. We should be able to, capitalism, we should be able to shop around. We should know the price of a procedure and be able to go to competing medical places and look at all the different prices and then decide which one we're going to go to. But that's not the way it works. Slim Jim's rule. I eat a damn Slim Jim at most in the morning. Yeah, usually that's what I have for lunch is a Slim Jim. I do like Slim. That's carnivore, baby. That's carnivore diet. Slim Jims. All right. This plan will deliver money directly to the American people, not insurance companies, big pharma, and special interest group, putting patients over industry leaders' profits. Just as he promised, the great healthcare plan also builds on the successes of his first term by promoting competition, eliminating wasteful spending, and putting consumers back in control. I am thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. I'm not going to keep reading in Trump voice. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discount on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation's drug pricing agreement. It'll bring down drug prices 80 to 90% in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. I mean, we'll see. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down, and under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed 300, 400, even 500% starting this month at the trumprx.gov. So instead of Americans paying the highest drug prices in the world, which we have for decades, we will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. That's what we're going to pay, and the American people will get the savings. I have to reiterate, the lowest price in the world is what you're going to pay, so you just keep saying the same thing. Before, you were paying the highest price in the world by far, and the politicians did nothing about it, so I'm asking Congress to complete the work that we've started. My plan would reduce your insurance premiums by stopping government payoffs to big insurance companies and sending that money directly to the people. Obamacare was designed to make insurance companies rich. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act. With billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies that helped their stock prices skyrocket over 1,700%. As you paid more money for healthcare every single year, more and more the premiums went higher and higher. I want to end this flagrant scam and put extra money straight into the healthcare savings account in your name. And you go out and buy your own healthcare, and you'll make a great deal. You'll get better healthcare for less money. That way you can choose the care that is right for your family. To further reduce insurance premiums, my plan ends the giant kickbacks to insurance brokers and corporate middlemen that only drive up the cost. It's very repetitive. Each of these bullet points are kind of like just repeating other bullet points. It fully funds a long-neglected part of the law known as the Cost-Sharing Reduction Program. This measure alone could cut premiums on the most popular Obamacare plans. It's hard to believe that there are any because it's a hated program. It's unaffordable, but it's going to cut them by an average of 10 to 15%. The Great Healthcare Plan, it's great healthcare at a lower price. Sounds like a Walmart advertisement. Mandates unprecedented accountability and transparency from insurance companies and all healthcare providers so that special interests can no longer profiteer at your expense. As the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That's why my plan orders all insurance companies to publish rate and coverage comparisons in very plain English. It requires insurers to publish detailed information about how much money they're going to be paying out in claims versus how much they are taking in profits. Forces them to release detailed data on how many claims are being denied and whether these denials are eventually overturned on appeal. We're almost done with this. I just want to, this isn't the best. I think they're just like quoting Trump while he's talking. Most importantly, it will require any hospital or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post all prices of their place of business so that you are never surprised and you can easily shop for a better deal or better care. And you're going to end up doing both. You're going to get a better deal and better care. We will have maximum price transparency and costs will come down incredibly. I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law without delay. We have to do it right now so that we can get immediately relief to the American people. I love. By implementing these measures, the Great Healthcare Plan will deliver immediate relief to millions of Americans struggling with high healthcare costs due to Democrats' Unaffordable Care Act. All right. So
today I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower.
I'm going to listen to him talking, but it seems like what I just read is all just quoted from this. Like they didn't actually write a plan. They just quoted everything he said in this thing. pickled egg in the morning does the body right. Yeah, but you'd be gassy, egg gassy all day. That's not polite to your coworkers.
Healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people...
Nobody's ever heard of that before, but that's the way it is.
People of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things.
Speculum.
They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it.
What is a speculum? Dishwasher safe speculum. I don't know what that means. That's a cool name, though. Breaking fast is important, even if it's just toast and a boiled egg with a cup of coffee. Whatever. I'll break my fast at nighttime.
Got it. And for the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down. And under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed by 300, 400, and even 500% starting this month.
Yeah, he's really just saying everything that we just read. So I want to spend more time on this RFK thing, since I could have just played this instead of reading that, because what we just read is all quoted from this speech. So he's going to say everything I just said. Now let's see the leftist media dogging on this healthcare plan, what they have to say, what we know about Trump's great healthcare plan. Let's see if CNN, if Tammy Lubby is going to be, fair, or what sort of spin she's going to put on this. Seeking to show Americans that he's concerned about affordability, President Donald Trump on Thursday released his long-awaited plan to tackle the high cost of healthcare. And by the way, just stop getting sick. You don't need healthcare. I don't have healthcare. Shoot, I don't even believe in insurance. What do you need healthcare? What do you need insurance for? Stop getting sick. Stop going to the dang hospital, you bunch of hypochondriacs. Oh, I need to open this because my thing is flashing. 1 second. Okay. Update later. All right, cool. That'll fix that. All right. Light on details. The proposal is largely a broad framework of the president's healthcare priorities, including reducing drug prices, lowering health insurance premiums, and increasing price transparency. It punts the hard work of coming up with specific legislation to Congress, though the White House said it will work with lawmakers. What the plan does not recommend is extending the Affordable Care Act's enhanced premium subsidies, which expired at the end of last year and sent premiums soaring for more than 20 million Americans for 2026. That's their fault. They're the ones who bought into the freaking ACA bullcrap, and now the ACA ends. Shocker, what'd you think was going to happen? The Senate is currently wrestling with whether to renew the subsidies. It also does not make changes to Medicare or Medicaid, which cover nearly 150 million people. Trump's promise to lower healthcare costs comes as premiums are jumping in Medicare and employer plans, in addition to the Obamacare exchanges. The president has also said he will meet with insurers soon to discuss lowering premiums, which he has, much as he has pressed drug makers to reduce prices. Much as he has pressured drug makers to reduce price. Okay. You can have great healthcare at a much lower price. Trump said at a White House event on a rural healthcare on Friday, "This is the biggest thing to ever happen to our healthcare in our country." Here's what's in Trump's healthcare plan. Drug prices, the most favored nations thing. We talked about that. So, I mean, CNN is it's kind of just pointing out what the plan is saying. They're not really being, this is not like an op-ed piece. This is at least fair. It's saying this is what we know about the plan, what he's trying to do. But when we go to ABC, we see some policy experts struggle to make sense of new Trump health plan. When we go to MS Now, I don't even know what MS Now is. Oh, Rachel Maddow, why Trump's pitiful new healthcare plan is even worse than it appears. I can't wait to hear what Rachel Maddow has to say on the topic. Want to go calm down your Discord? Why? What are they doing in my Discord? I don't know. Go handle it. Go handle it. Daddy's not home right now. Get in line. Let's see what ABC's talking about. On the last day to enroll in ACA health insurance plans in most states, President Donald Trump presented his own ideas for a healthcare plan that left some health policy experts that spoke to ABC News with unanswered questions. Well, just wait. If you don't have the answers you want now, just wait longer. They'll handle it. Trump has long been asked for a healthcare plan amid sustained criticism of the ACA, which was signed into law by President Barack Obama. The great healthcare plan presents a proposal to shift government insurance subsidies directly to consumers through health savings accounts and take advantage of his most favored nation drug price initiative. This was also talked about in the big beautiful bill. This was in chapter, I can't remember. I think this was in chapter 4. I can't remember. I had each chapter like summarized in a notebook somewhere, but I didn't memorize it. This might be chapter 4. No. Chapter 4 was about the no tax on tips, because that was the one that interested me. Anyway, Trump has long been asked for a healthcare plan amid sustained criticism of the ACA, which was signed into law by Barack Obama. The great healthcare plan presents a proposal to shift. Did I already read this? Most favored nation drug pricing, reduce insurance premiums. Okay, we know all this. I want to see their opinion. However, the video and one-page fact sheet posted on the White House website were light on specifics. I mean, how much do you want him to go into specifics when he's doing the press conference and he's just saying, I'm introducing it? What specifics do you want him to go into? Let the healthcare people explain that. Light on specifics about how much would actually go to Americans or how much funding the plan would require or how the funds would be distributed. Dr. Sachin Jain, a former official in the Department of Health and Human Services during the Obama administration, acknowledged that it's a pretty big step for Trump to articulate healthcare as a major priority during his second term. He said that from the beginning. He said, we're going to make America healthy again. So this is part of his campaign, campaign promises. There is so much waste and incompetence. Yeah, definitely. Discord is in Discord. That's why it's called Discord. Aside from lowering drug prices through the most favored nations deal and cutting back on insurance subsidies, the plan proposes a cost-sharing provision that Congressional Budget Office estimates would reduce most Obamacare premiums by 10%. That sounds good. The plan also proposes to hold insurance companies accountable with a plain English standard and institute pricing requirements for providers who accept Medicare and Medicaid to prominently post their pricing and fees, which is something we've been asking about again for decades. No, go calm it down, you fuck, read above. No, you do it. This is not my time. I'm not concerned with that right now. Some provisions will have virtually no effect. Who's in there? Let me see. I'm not going in there. I'm just looking. Let's see what's going. There's only 2 people in there. It's Premonition and Avarice. Those are not people who need to be calmed down. What are you talking about? Is Premonition acting crazy in my Discord? Oh, calm down, Chuck and Jeremy. Okay. I want to see this one because this is by Steve Bannon, MS Now. Is this Rachel Maddow's because it says from the Rachel Maddow show, the Maddow blog. Donald Trump has talked about unveiling a healthcare plan of his own for about a decade, only to consistently miss self-imposed deadlines. The Republican famously assured the public in 2024 that he has concepts of a plan, but when it came to doing the hard work of crafting a policy blueprint, the president has never delivered. After seeing the new... I mean, also, you think he doesn't have other crap to deal with right now? And blockades being set up at every turn? After seeing the new proposal bill by the White House as the great healthcare plan, it's fair to say Trump and his team still haven't delivered. To characterize the document the White House produced as a healthcare plan is overly generous. The entirety of the proposal, literally from start to finish, is 386 words. For context, the blog post that you're reading right now is roughly 650 words. And if your healthcare blueprint is quite a bit shorter than a blog post, then you don't actually have a healthcare plan. Well, that's just the introduction. It's just like here's what we're going to do. I'm sure there's going to be a longer bill or a longer plan eventually. Calm those. They have been going for an hour straight. What are they, just roasting each other? They're just yelling at each other. Chuck annoys everybody, I think. And everybody wants to start arguments with Chuck. Fact sheet, 800 words. Okay, so they're being critical of how short what we read was. I guess that's it. That's their only complaint, is it's not long enough. He hasn't given us a full bill. Why would that be better than the status quo? I honestly have no idea, and neither the president nor anyone on his team have made any effort to answer questions along those lines. If one were to stop here, one could simply conclude that Trump, after years of effort, has presented the public with a pitiful outline. But it's actually worse than that because of the context in which it was presented. As much as the public knows, insurance subsidies for Affordable Care Act coverage, known as enhanced premium tax credits, expired on New Year's Eve, which has imposed drastic price hikes on roughly 24 million Americans. There are, however, ongoing efforts. That's their fault for falling for a Democrat plan. However, ongoing efforts in Congress to restore the benefits, with the House passing a bill last week to revise and extend the subsidies for 3 years, as the Senate is at least trying to forge a related compromise. The White House plan, however, throws a wrench into those efforts, condemning the ACA as a scam, which it was, and excluding the subsidies from Trump's broad architecture, which makes Trump's gambit not merely a pitiful sham, but also a tactic that pushes the political process away from any solution that might actually help. Great op-ed. Thanks, Steve Bannon. From the Maddow blog. Okay. I'm sure more information on the great healthcare plan will come. So simmer down, calm down. But also in relation to making America healthy again, to kind of tie in with this, we're going to watch this video about the new dietary guidelines from RFK, Making America Healthy Again.
I've been watching the dietary food guidelines very closely for decades, and I never thought I would see what I just saw yesterday. And for the first time in history, they didn't just tweak the pyramid, they flipped it upside down. This is a massive win by RFK Jr. And yes, there are a few problems which we're going to cover, but mostly I am super excited because what this is going to do for children in schools, for hospitals, nursing homes, for the military, all these institutional foods, they're going to have to completely rewire the supply chains. You have to understand how radical this shift is. For over 40 years, the foundation of our guidelines were the grains being the base, okay? I mean, I'm talking between 6 to 11 servings of grains every single day.
Horrible.
The entire past pyramids have been based on
ass backwards food pyramid, ass backwards school lunches. I don't care about the prisoners. Military, I'm pretty sure that like the military, the MREs they get have protein in them, but then the ones that they drop in care packages to like Vietnam and the Middle East and all that stuff is all like soy and lentils. So like we feed our enemies the soy MREs and then the soldiers actually get some protein in theirs. But yeah, lots of carbs.
carbohydrates. But yesterday in this release, they walked away from that entire model. They didn't do what they normally did, which is adjust a few numbers. They actually talked about the food itself, which is enormous. But I think this didn't happen from just opinions. The data has been accumulating for years and years, and there had been a point where you just can't ignore it anymore. They now directly targeted.
Look at this: pasta, cookies, Eggos, crackers, racist, bread. No, cut that out.
In the crosshairs, ultra-processed foods as being the primary driver of 90% of chronic disease. I'm talking about obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver. For decades, the ultra-processed food companies were protected by silence. But now, that's all gone. So there's no longer this cosmetic wording of making things sound really healthy. There's some pretty hardcore statements in this document. I'm going to put a link down below. Let's just compare and contrast.
Actors. We can make you believe we know what we're.
All right, shut up, dude.
Old model with the new model. In the old model, okay, it was recommended 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates. That is a massive amount of carbohydrates that turn into sugar in your body. They also recommended low fat. They also wanted you to do low cholesterol and low saturated fats. And of course, they focused on calories. Calories in equals calories out, right? Now, what's in the crosshairs is ultra-processed foods, emphasizing real foods, increasing protein, not from plant-based protein, from high-quality protein, like red meat.
Like steak.
And so the old recommendation
steak
for
and
protein,
butter and bacon fat and bacon grease and some saturated fats, some dang protein. Let's get it. Making America strong again. Why do you think Asians are so tiny? Because they eat nothing but damn soy.
was 0.8 grams per kilogram. So with a 180-pound person, they would be recommended about 65 grams of protein per day.
Look at that. A steak and some eggs. That's a breakfast. That's breakfast of champions right there.
Now, the new recommendations for protein is 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. And an average of a 180-pound person, we're talking 98 to 131 grams of protein per day.
That's a lot of protein, though.
Versus the 65 grams over here. This is a massive shift. Because I already know, being in this field, a lot of people are deficient in high-quality protein. And just that recommendation alone is going to be huge to help your biochemistry, to help hormones, to help blood sugar. Now, what's really going to be interesting is how they're going to implement this, because they're targeting ultra-processed foods as the enemy of health, okay? And so now, if you think about it, the entire foundation of our food supply is built on ultra-processed foods. Supply chains are geared towards delivering ultra-processed foods. Over 50% of our calories are ultra-processed foods. So I don't know how they're going to change that, but that's another problem with implementing these new recommendations. We've been for decades operating off of the wrong information. And the other delicate area I want to bring up is definitions. They are working right now on the definition of ultra-processed foods. And if I had my way, what I would start out doing is first talk about the definition of actual food. Not ultra-processed foods, but let's start with the definition of food, because in another video I talked about this. What they did is they altered the definition of food and made it a legal definition, which basically means something that you eat that has nothing to do with the biological definition of food. So they're completely different. The legal definition of food is something that's edible and has a shelf-stable life, and that's pretty much it. It really has nothing to do with the biological definition, which has to support life. It has to help with growth and the repair of body tissue, but not the legal definition.
Shelf-stable life.
So without getting that foundation, you
basically something from a box or a can is food from the old definition.
Can't then compare and contrast and then talk about what ultra-processed food
protein,
is.
but how
If
much
I had any input in it, I would start with going back to the
probably like 250.
Biological definition of food, okay? And then anything that doesn't fit that, you can't call food. And that would be a huge game changer, because that would put a lot of awareness on things that you put in your mouth and get people to simply realize, just eat food, because this other thing over here is not food, because it cannot sustain health, life. It can't repair the body. It's going to basically create disease. Whoever controls the definition controls the outcome. They did this also with the definition of drug and disease, which I've talked about in other presentations, but the definition of food is very, very important. That which is eaten to sustain life, promote the growth and repair of tissues. The derivation means nourishment. Now, with all the good things that just happened, there's one main, big, missing piece of the puzzle, and that is the actual root cause of most chronic disease. I'm talking about...
So, the other day, I heard about this. Sorry about the ads. You guys pay for ad blockers so that I can play ads.
Now, some people are going to say, well, does it really matter? Because a lot of the foods that they're recommending and the changes
Pay
will
attention to what you put in
indirectly
your
help
mouth.
prevent insulin resistance.
Don't you put it
That's
in your
true.
mouth. Don't
But
you
what
put
about
it
the
in your
people
mouth.
that already have insulin resistance? Will this new plan address that? I don't think so. Because when we're getting into correcting insulin resistance, it's super important to talk about how often you eat. Because if you apply this to your daily life as far as changing the foods, yet you're still having 3 meals, 2 snacks, you're grazing between meals, even if it's so-called healthy foods, you're still going to raise insulin.
I'm almost done with this.
And every time you spike insulin with eating either healthy or unhealthy foods, you are contributing to this insulin resistance, and it's going to be almost impossible.
I'm not paying for nothing. I'm not paying for an ad blocker. Also, I heard if you have an ad blocker turned on, you could lose your YouTube channel. They don't play with that.
Possible to reverse it, even if you're eating real foods. Now, you probably prevent it, but I don't know if you're going to actually reverse it, because the 2 things you have to focus on reversing it are doing low carb, and number 2, not eating so frequently. And so in the new dietary guidelines,
low carb,
insulin resistance wasn't mentioned. Also, they didn't get into intermittent fasting. But I'm telling you that so at least you'll know what you need to do to correct insulin resistance. And I really think the reason why they could not mention insulin resistance is because for years, they promoted a diet that actually causes insulin resistance. And for them to have to bring this up right now, it's incredibly embarrassing. They never like to be wrong. I mean, just take a look at cholesterol, right? In 2015, they very quietly removed the limits for cholesterol from our foods. Did they apologize for the last 40 years of telling us we had to get rid of cholesterol and go on statins? No, they didn't even mention that. But if you're talking 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates, you're talking about a massive spike in insulin. And also, if they brought up insulin resistance, they would also have to admit this whole calories in, calories out is completely non-valid, because they don't focus on the type of calories, which are calories that increase insulin, which then causes insulin resistance. Now, the last little thing I want to talk about with the new recommendations is saturated fat. Unfortunately, they still put the cap at 10% saturated fat. And that's one disagreement, because if you restrict saturated fat, what's left? We have unsaturated fatty acids like the seed oils. However, they did talk about...
Saturated fat is good. Some bacon grease. Cook your food in some bacon grease, some lard. That stuff's good for you. What's the tallow? Yeah, some tallow. Get you some tallow. Some of that real fat.
Ultra-processed foods, which also contain a lot of seed oils. They also talked about refined oils, okay? So that was good. But of course, they didn't really talk about...
Thank you for the super chat. We'll answer that question at the end of the show during question time. I'm changing the format of the show for the first time in years. We're doing questions at the end of the show. So I'll answer that question at the end of the show.
How oil is oxidized, not just with heat, but by storage. And then one more point on this. They didn't mention the word industrial starches, but they did mention refined carbohydrates. And I don't even think people even know this word industrial starch. It is the refined carbohydrates. And I'm talking about flour products that you see, the wheat flour, but not just that. You have other words, modified corn starch, modified food starch, maltodextrin, which actually is hidden sugar, but it's not labeled as sugar. It's labeled as a carbohydrate and sugar-free, even though it will raise your blood sugar way more than actual sugar. But just realize this is targeted, and within this category, you have a lot of the hidden sugars as starches. And these are industrial starches that must go if we're going to turn.
I'll answer that question at the end of the show. Another question. Thank you, Avers, for your question. We'll answer it during question time.
This health around. But that being said, I am just ecstatic at this new flip on the food pyramid.
All right.
I'm really excited.
So there's Trump's Great American Health Plan, and there is also RFK flipping the food pyramid on its head, which we've known. I've talked about this before. We've known this for years, that the food pyramid was stupid, that what they're feeding kids and feeding anybody in any of these institutions, hospitals, military, prisons, is garbage. It's garbage. So that's good that that's happening. Exciting, making America healthy again. So let's go. Problem is, that's a lot of protein. 180-pound person needs 90 to 130 grams of protein a day. That's a lot. It's a lot of protein. Protein's expensive, so we got to get the meat prices down. I will call you. What do you mean you'll call me? Always there when you call. Oh, wait, you can't call in the middle of the show. It's not call time. You call me at the end. Hold on. We got reels and rapid fire news. Okay, we actually have some stories in rapid fire that are
the United States
that are like kind of big stories that could have been in the main story news, but I just don't have time to dig deep into all of them. But so we'll talk about Supreme Court hearing about these trans stuff, trans people in women's sports, and then the ICE shooting the guy in the leg in Minneapolis. Answer the yes or no. Just yes or no. Am I married? Yes. Okay. But it takes more. I mean, there's more information needed than that. But anyway, all right. Some funny reels. This one's great. Breaking news, interview. Trump went after Maduro. Here's the Trump-Maduro interview.
The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. Nigga, I talk facts. What, deny what, nigga? Give me that, nigga. I don't know what to do.
Okay. Wait, one more time.
The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. Nigga, I talk facts. What, deny what, nigga? Give me that, nigga. I don't know.
Shout out Trump. Stole that shit. All right. Okay. This is a good one. This girl's gonna learn how to play baseball. You know, she's gonna be a great baseball player.
She got that. Ooh. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, he hit her right in the
Look,
chest.
I ain't no damn brainiac. I ain't nothing but no dumbass redneck from South Mississippi. But, have you tried soccer?
We're taking infield today.
Watch the second one. He hits her, blasts her right in the chest.
She got that. Ooh.
That one almost hit her in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, he hits her right in the middle
Look,
of the chest. Okay. All right. That's it. What else we got? This is from February 18th of 2025. So this is a story from a year ago. But sometimes it's good to, you know, look at some old stories we might have missed, some interesting stories. Shark attacked tourist as she tried to take its picture in Turks and Caicos, authorities said. Apparently, this lady saw a shark in the ocean, so she went and tried to grab it and take a picture with it, and it bit both her hands off. It took both her hands. Speaking of co-hosts, what happened to Buff? Buff is not my co-host. She was never a co-host. What part of the cardboard box is here? What are you talking about? And stop spamming my chat, Avarice. Holy crap. A shark attacked and injured a Canadian. Oh, she's Canadian. Figures. Of course, a Canadian's going to try to take a selfie with a damn shark. What are you doing?
How about new?
The attack occurred on the morning of February 7th at the beach on Providenciales, one of the territory's eastern islands. 55-year-old victim was brought ashore and rushed to Cheshire Hall Medical Center for treatment. Press statement, she had attempted to engage with the animal from the shallows in an attempt to take photographs. The shark was estimated to be approximately 6 feet in length. However, the species is yet to be confirmed. A Canadian citizen who experienced an accident. Council officials have contacted local authorities. CNN has reached out, as well as a spokesperson for the Archipelago's Tourism Authority. Though popular movies like Jaws has given a reputation of sharks for hostility and aggression, attacks on humans are extremely rare. Unless you try to grab a 6-foot shark for a selfie and you lose both your hands. Oh, man. A shark bit a snorkeling American. She lost her leg in the attack. 30 different types of sharks in the Caribbean. Anyway, so the moral of the story is don't take selfies with 6-foot sharks. Guys, don't try to grab a 6-foot shark and take a picture with it, or you might lose both of your hands. Let's move on. This is a big story earlier this week. In the midst of all these riots and protests that we have going on in Minneapolis, after the Renee Good shooting, after the Portland shooting, there was another ICE shooting in Minneapolis. People lost their minds again. Shark! Yeah. Minneapolis, Minnesota. A federal officer shot a person in the leg in Minneapolis after being attacked with a shovel and a broom handle while trying to make an arrest Wednesday, officials said.
If you're just joining us, there's been another.
But you know what's funny is cops are not trained to shoot somebody in the leg. People will always say that. They're like, well, why didn't the cop just shoot him in the leg? Why'd you have to kill him? You aim at center mass and you squeeze till the clip is empty. Don't tempt me, EHOD, man. You just light him up. Then people say, well, why don't you just shoot him in the leg? Then this guy shoots him in the leg and they riot anyway. Or a woman, a federal officer shot a person in the leg. Let's see what this.
Shooting in Minneapolis involving an ICE agent. They're holding a news conference right now at the city. Let's listen in.
Any further. I have faith.
Oh, this
that
guy.
The investigators are involved.
This idiot.
Will follow
Mayor Fry, is that his name? This moron here.
every lead in this case and ensure it is
Natural selection
completed
working
to its
overtime.
logical conclusion.
Yeah. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark. She tried to grab up Daddy Shark. Lost her dang hands. They also say shoot the tire. Yeah. These people don't have a clue. Yeah. Well, did you shoot him in the leg or shoot the tires out? Shut up, moron. But then when they actually do shoot them in the leg, the people still riot.
There's still a lot that
Jacob
we
Frey.
don't know at this time.
Oh, God.
But what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently.
Well, stop encouraging your citizens to riot and tell your police to get in line and help with the ICE investigation so that they don't have to keep doing this. Why don't you help the situation instead of causing it to get more out of control, you moron?
Being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to
You ever see
find
Jacob
a way
Fry do the
forward
electric slide in the hood
to
with black
keep
people?
people
No.
safe,
Maybe
protect
with the
our
Somalians.
neighbors, to maintain
I seen him
order.
dancing with some Somalians.
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another.
Well, that's your fault.
Why are we put in this position?
Because you're an idiot.
We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area. 3,000. The 600 police officers that we have are charged on any given.
Bibby's been a member for 33 months. I think Bibby has the record. And he's a silver member. He's not just a regular bronze member. Bibby's been a silver member for 33 months. Bibby's the GOAT.
Given day with investigating crime, stopping homicides from taking place, preventing carjackings. That's the work of a police officer in a city. Meanwhile, we have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos.
I'm not going to listen to this whole thing. This is 7 minutes long.
This is not the path that...
I don't care. I'm not listening to this guy. A federal officer shot a person in the leg after being attacked with a shovel and handle. Seems justified. Department of Homeland Security said in a statement on the social media platform X that federal law enforcement officers stopped a person from Venezuela who was in the U.S. illegally. Shocker. The person drove away and crashed into a parked car before taking off on foot. Oh, so this person just crashes into cars, runs away, attacks police and federal officers with shovels, gets shot in the leg, and people riot? People riot about this. After officers reached the person, 2 other people arrived from a nearby apartment, and all 3 started attacking the officer. I think they all should have got plugged up in the chest. Fearing for his life and safety as he was being ambushed by 3 individuals, the officer fired a defensive shot to defend his life. The 2 people who came out of the apartment are in custody, it said. A large group of officers wearing gas masks fired tear gas in the crowd, gathered at the North Minneapolis intersection under where Wednesday's shooting took place. So this is the shooting. And then they started protesting. They went crazy. So this from the Independent. This is the protest. Now, this is still Renee Good protest, but then add on top of it, somebody gets shot in the leg. It just refuels the fire. Video contains graphic imagery. Oh, yeah. 36 because you had that 3-month hiatus. But yeah, but did you have to pay for it while it was banned on YouTube? Two videos of Frey dancing. I might have seen them. Go home and get some therapy, bitches. It's crazy, dude. Crazy. Shame. Shame. Okay, so craziness still going on in Minneapolis. Shocker. We just got to get that whole state cleaned out, the whole government and everything. Where's King? King, what are you letting happen in your state, buddy? You need to handle that. Josh with the receipts. Nah, they didn't accept payment, so I guess you're right. Yeah. Okay. Also in rapid fire news, which this could have been a main news story in itself. Supreme Court is doing hearings about trans athlete bans. So weird sex stuff in the news. Will trans athlete bans get Supreme Court approval? Arguments recap from USA Today. The Supreme Court appeared sympathetic on January 13th to state bans on transgender girls competing on female sports teams. So what that means, boys on girls teams, boys who think that they're girls playing on the girls team. One of the nation's most high profile and divisive cultural and political issues. I mean, it seems like common sense to me. No, just say no. But did you hear there was a transgender, what I guess they would call it a transgender woman. It was a male who was turning to a female, was swimming on the female swimming team, had already been on HRT, had already had breast implants put in, actually looked kind of like a woman, had been on it long enough that they were starting to be passing. So this looks like a woman, swims on the woman's team, but it's a guy. I don't know if maybe he got the Pepe removed. I don't know about all that, but I do know he had breasts. And then he got kicked off the women's team and had to go back and swim on the men's team because he's a man. But now he's got titties. So that now he's swimming on the men's team in Speedos with no top, full breasted out, long hair, looking like a woman on the men's team. Titties out. What percentage of your food comes from the gas station? Too much. What percentage? I mean, probably I don't know, 10%. Once a week, I'll probably eat a meal. Once or twice a week, I'll eat some wings or some breakfast sandwich or some pizza from the gas station, from the 7-Eleven. Well, I'm supposed to answer these at the end, dang it. Thank you. But I'm supposed to answer that at the end of the show. Yeah, so anyway, what the actual yes, so there's a man on the women's team, a man on the men's team who swims in a Speedo, but looks like a woman, has titties out at the swimming events as a protest. Oh, you're going to make me swim on the men's team, even though I've already got my titties put in? Well, then I'm swimming titties out. And this is very distracting at the swim meet. A man with boobies swimming. Yes, this is happening. Didn't I talk about this? Let me see if I can find this. Gender swims topless on men's team. A trans woman forced to compete in a men's category swimming competition protested the governing body's trans exclusionary policies by swimming topless. Trans woman forced to compete against men swims topless in protest. Anna Isabella Coombs stood up to swim England's gender policies in an innovative way. Coombs, who is transgender, was forced to compete against men in the event. In protest, she wore the same men's swimming trunks that the men wore, meaning she competed topless, titties out. This is crazy. Let's see what they're talking about in Supreme Court. And this is what we have to deal with now.
I wish I knew my liver disease.
I don't care about your liver disease. Sorry, lady. Chief Justice John Roberts, whose vote is likely to be the key to the outcome, expressed skepticism about the challenges brought by transgender arguments. Let's skip the ad and let's just watch this. Oh, there's another ad. While the court's 3 liberal justices focused on the fact that some transgender students may not have an athletic advantage after undergoing hormone treatments, Roberts said allowing challenges to state law from a fairly small group of people could have broader implications. Dude, how many ads are they going to play? What the heck? If we adopted that, that would have to apply across the board and not simply in the area of athletics, Roberts said near the end of the debate on the first case, a challenge to Idaho's ban. There are only 3 justices on the high court appointed by Democrats compared to 6 Republican-appointed justices. That means the 3 liberal justices need to pull over 2 conservatives, assuming the court largely breaks down along ideological lines. Ahead of today's arguments, Roberts and Justice Neil Gorsuch, 2 Republican-appointed members of the court, were seen as potentially crucial votes for the transgender athletes to win over. Let's listen to this.
Homeschooling, they aren't vaccinating.
I think we're trying to go back to the simple days, where things were less complicated.
There's nothing that makes me feel.
What the heck is this? This is not Crunchy Mom, a growing movement of Crunchy Mom vaccine skeptics. This is not related. This video is not related to the article. But what is this about?
Feel my children need these vaccines.
Are these lesbians? Lesbians! I don't know. The one might be a dude.
Every parent wants to do what's right for their child. But that's leading a growing group in the country to question science under the guise of medical freedom. It's a huge global and national phenomenon.
We don't know what, if any, contribution vaccines are making to the chronic.
Okay, this is not related to the article that I'm reading, but let's look at the transgender photo gallery. 67% of Dem voters don't want males in women's sports. Wow, that's good to know. So there's still some common sense on the left. Shocker. Trans kids belong. ACLU. American Civil Liberties Union. Trans women are men. So there's counter-protesters. There's protesters. Protect trans youth. We got somebody with yellow hair. Looks like they've been hanging out with R. Kelly. Pro women's safety, fairness, truth. Reality matters. Biology matters. Facts. Pro women, pro safety, pro fairness, pro truth. Protect women's sports. So it looks like protect women's sports. We've got some women standing up for women's sports. Nice. What's that? Hey, thank you for the membership. I don't know how you're reading this story with a straight face. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing some based people were showing up. Demonstrators rally outside of the Supreme Court as justices hear oral arguments in 2 cases related to transgender athlete participation in sports. January 13th, cases Little versus Heckox and West Virginia versus BPJ seek to decide whether laws that limit participation to women and girls based on sex violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Senator Steve Daines, Republican, outside the Supreme Court with Representative Kat Comack. Demonstrators rally, justices hear oral arguments. Stop saying oral. Why don't I matter? This little girl. It's true, man. Let them all play. Gross. You're weird. These colors don't run from fascists. Tranny with a sign. Anyway, I don't know. I'm seeing more people who have a little bit of common sense than I am these crazy people. Crazy rainbow faces. It's wild. I have from Guardian. They're here to antagonize us. Trans advocates say hostility at rallies is up as Supreme Court hears key cases. As High Court considers trans kids' participation in school sports, tensions run high between opposing protest groups. So I'm not going to read all this from The Guardian, but, multiracial. As the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on Tuesday for a case that could determine whether transgender children can participate in school sports and potentially impact LGBT low IQ STD plus civil rights protections were more broadly, competing groups of activists rallied in Washington, D.C. On one side was a multiracial mix of hundreds of people rallying for trans rights and in support of Becky Pepper Jackson, that's BPJ, a track and field athlete from West Virginia and the plaintiff in the West Virginia versus BPJ case before the Supreme Court. On the other side was an equally large crowd, mostly white, because this is what's important, that was calling on the Supreme Court to protect women's sports. So are we saying that white people have more common sense? Is that the message you're trying to get across, Guardian? Okay. Virginia and Idaho prohibits trans youth from participating in sports programs aligned with their gender identity. In many ways, the scene looked like other DC rallies over trans and queer rights over the past decade. Trans advocates and their allies danced to remixes of songs by pop star Chappelle Roan, while those opposing trans rights at one point held a prayer for the legal team representing West Virginia. But the protests this week appeared to have visible shift in the size, tone, and aggression from the crowd opposing trans rights. Advocates said the Guardian witnessed trans activists being shoulder-checked, shoved, chased, and recorded. When the trans advocacy crowd chanted, "Our existence is resistance," the other side launched one of their own, "Your existence is ridiculous." So the protesters are getting a little rowdy. The right side is tired of this crap. And now they're just shoulder-checking transformers more than meets the eye. Crazy. All right. But I don't know if they've made a decision yet. And now they're nervous because they don't know if they make the right decision, there's going to be backlash. There's going to be chaos in the streets. A bunch of transformers are going to be running around doing riots. What's worse than a riot? A riot with a bunch of trans people. Oh, man. What is going on in the world? I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, what else do we got? A couple more short stories, and then we'll do the question segment. Get your questions in. The question that the question that the lawyers representing trans athletes didn't answer. So this is the Atlantic. Transgender participation in women's athletics is the single most difficult issue I've seen in 40 years of covering sports. Really? That's the most difficult issue you've seen? Is men beating the hell out of women? Is that complicated? Is it that controversial? Just let ICE handle that riot. Seems they do it right. Yeah. It makes gambling, performance-enhancing drugs, and regulation of collegiate athletes look like tidy challenges. Two groups, trans women and cisgender women. Oh, my God, cisgender women. Two groups, fake women and real women, both argue that they need equal protection from discrimination. But if they can't have it at the same time, in the often zero-sum realm of sports, who wins? As Justice Brett Kavanaugh put it during this week's oral arguments in the first cases on the topic to come before the Supreme Court, there are harms on both sides. At the core of the matter is whether trans women athletes have a lingering testosterone advantage, a question that remains significantly disputed. Even if they don't, they still have different bone structures. They have different hips. And the only way you resolve this is by getting them on gender blockers very young. And we don't want to do that. That's bad too. How about men just be men and women just be women? It's not complicated. A question that remains scientifically disputed. Until that point is settled, a resolution to this painful issue is hard to envision. Lawyers representing trans athletes in the two cases before the court, Little versus Heckox and West Virginia versus BPJ, which challenged state laws that categorically ban trans women from women's sports teams, made many torturous arguments. But they did not put forward winning ones. That's a judgment of their position. That's a judgment not of their position, but of their performance. They failed to effectively answer this question. Does a trans woman who competes on a women's team disadvantage other women? Yeah, because that's a man. I can't read the whole article. They're not going to let me, but that's fine. I don't need to. I'm not paying for the Atlantic. Not going to happen. So that's all the new rapid fire big stories. We have a couple updates here. Updates on what's going on in Minnesota. The Pentagon puts 1,500 troops on alert for Minnesota. We going in, boys. The military's coming in. National Guard. About to be some insurrection act going on. Oh, they're not going to let me read this. The Pentagon, whatever, this is rapid fire. From Axios, the Pentagon has ordered some 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare to possibly deploy to Minnesota, per multiple reports, as President Trump considers invoking the Insurrection Act for the first time in the 21st century. So if that happens, I'll keep you updated. This is just a little update on what's going on in with the protests in Minnesota, and then an update on the Trump's imperialist regime. Updates on conquering of Greenland. As divisions over Greenland grow, Europe examines its options. Donald Trump's tariff threats to force Europeans to count their arrows. It was hardly the first time since Donald Trump's inauguration last year that Europeans have been outraged by America, but the anger at the weekend after America's president threatened to impose a 10% tariff rate on 8 European countries that had dared to send a few troops to Greenland felt more determined than before. No intimidation or threat will influence us, thundered Emmanuel Macron, the French president. Oh, that guy's scary. He's getting smacked up by his wife, and she might have a penis. We don't know yet. She's yet to provide the DNA that we need. But shout out to the Candace fans, I guess. The French president, neither in Ukraine nor in Greenland nor anywhere else, from Ulf Kristersson, the Swedish prime minister, to Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission. Politicians were indignant at America's latest bullying. So we're tariffing countries that are trying to keep us from moving on Greenland. Don't play around. We're taking Greenland. All right? We'll do it peacefully. We'll do it the easy way or we'll do it the hard way. But it's going to get done. We got 2 other short stories here. There was a train crash in Spain. Death toll climbs to 40 after high-speed train collision in Spain. Let me see. I had a video on this. Let me grab one real quick. Spain train. Spain train, train Spain. Train in Spain? Spain and train. Spain train. Spain train. Spain train crash? Let's see this.
You. Just you. Building your app.
Okay. I got it. 39 killed. Death toll is up to 40.
People have died in a high-speed train crash in Spain. This incident happened
Greenland's
in
getting
the south of the
penetrated
country after a high-speed train traveling to Madrid ran off the tracks and hit another train.
Damn.
CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer has more.
It was almost 8 in the evening when the trains collided. Rescue crews scrambled to free trapped passengers.
What a horrible time for a train to derail. Like, I'm sure there's tons of times where there's no other trains coming towards you on the tracks. But when 2 trains are passing each other, probably the worst time for your train to derail and hit into the other train.
Passengers. Some escaped through the windows. Anna was one of those. Some people in our carriage were fine.
That's Bruce Willis from Unbreakable.
And others were really bad. She said we could see them dying, but could do nothing. Around 400 people were on both trains. Survivors and those with minor injuries were taken to a local community center for assessment and treatment. Here's the crash site in daylight. You can see the wreckage of the slower train. Most people died in the carriage that smashed to pieces.
Damn.
It had crashed into a high-speed train coming in the other direction. That train had derailed and was still sitting damaged some distance up the track. Investigators are now combing the scene to figure out what
So it derailed.
catastrophically.
So it derailed and it was blocking the track, and then the other train came and hit it, or no, the high-speed train hit the other train. I don't know. I'm confused.
Wrong. Spain's high-speed rail network is the largest in Europe and a popular means of travel.
Spain's transportation minister has said that this accident is a mystery. It took place on a long, straight stretch of track that had been refurbished just last May.
I think somebody put a penny on the track. I think that's what happened. Damn vagrants leaving pennies on train tracks. Mildly attractive, this lady?
Errol?
All right, Elizabeth, thank you for that update.
I went
sorry.
down.
I didn't mean to click that. Oh, yeah, Don
We have
Lemon.
this breaking for you overnight.
Oh, yeah, that's news, too. We were watching that this morning. Don Lemon kind of like led a protest. Well, he looked like he was leading it. He's trying to do a Nick Shirley. He's trying to do some investigative journalism because, he's irrelevant and not popular. So he tries to do a Nick Shirley on the ground guerrilla journalism, takes a whole group of protesters, walks them into a church, and then starts putting a microphone in people at the church's face and then saying, "Don't touch me. Don't touch me." Trying to be like a Caitlyn Bennett or a Nick Shirley or a Tyler Oliveira. You can't do it, Don. Nobody likes you. Actually, let me find that. And now, what was the article that I saw? They're talking about charging him or something. Let me see if I can find it. Don Lemon, church protest. Look at
Former
this.
CNN anchor Don Lemon has been warned by the Justice Department over allegations he joined a swarm of anti-ICE protesters who burst into a Minnesota church in the middle of Sunday service and accused a pastor of working with ICE.
Yeah, you don't get to run up into private churches. Oh, you guys can't see it. You don't get to run up into private churches doing your stupid ICE protest. And Don Lemon should be ashamed of himself. He's trying to be like a Nick Shirley. This is not how you do it, Don. You suck at this.
Lemon, who has been documenting the increasingly violent protests following the shooting of Renee Nicole Good, live-streamed himself alongside demonstrators with the Racial Justice Network storming into the city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota, as they called out resident pastor David Eastwood, whom they accused of moonlighting as the acting field office director for ICE in the North Star State. David Eastwood...
Is there any evidence of this? Is this true? Regardless, even if he is the acting ICE director and he's also a pastor on the weekends, that doesn't give you the right to walk into his church and disrupt church. Your First Amendment right doesn't get to trample on Christians' First Amendment rights who are in church.
Eastwood is listed as an employee with the local field office. However, the Post could not independently confirm whether he was the same person who heads up city's church. Eastwood was not at the Sunday service. Some service disruptors changed.
So the guy they're looking for and the guy they're protesting wasn't even there.
Slogans heard at the dozens of other protests that have wreaked havoc around Minneapolis. While others specifically slandered Eastwood for supposedly misrepresenting the ideals of his faith through his support for ICE. Lemon spoke with the congregation's lead pastor, Jonathan Parnell, who said the bombardment was shameful.
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
The Department of Justice is probing the demonstration at the church for potential violation of civil rights laws, specifically for interfering with Christian worshipers, according to a post on X. Harmeet Dillon, the Justice Department's Assistant Attorney General for...
She's mildly attractive, Bibby. Harmeet.
Civil rights, chided Lemon on social media. A house of worship is not a public forum for your protests. It is a space protected from exactly such acts by federal, criminal, and civil laws, nor does the First Amendment protect your pseudo-journalism of disrupting a prayer service. You are on notice, she wrote.
Based, Harmeet. AAG, Harmeet. Based.
In a follow-up post, she noted that the FBI has been activated and accused the protesters of desecrating a house of worship. Lemon has dismissed calls for him to be prosecuted for joining in with the group and defended his actions as protected under the First Amendment.
No, you don't get to walk into my living room and start protesting, you retard.
The MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true, Lemon said.
We watched it.
Claiming he had no affiliations with the organization, defending his actions as, quote, an act of journalism.
Oh, you just happened to be there? You just happened to be there when they decided to walk in and protest inside a church? You just happened to be there and get it all on film? Sure, Don. Yeah, we believe that, Don.
Every day, people...
And yes, he does do that, but I'm not going to read that dishwasher safe. Let's see. Okay, so that happened.
Dear young people.
Last little rapid fire story. I don't have an article on this. I just have a video that somebody sent me. Now, this is from The Independent. And so I think this is real. But this is Pope Leo and priest Guilherme surprise worshipers with electronic rave party. Is this at the Vatican? This is the Pope. The Pope does a thing where he addresses Catholics. This looks like it's at the Vatican. But this is the 75th birthday of Archbishop Bernard Bober. And for his 75th birthday, they decide to have an electro rave dance party at the Vatican. What the heck is this?
Young people, with joy I greet you as you gather before the splendid Cathedral of Košice, which is a beating heart of faith and hope. Coming from different nations, yet united by the same faith, your presence is a tangible sign of the fraternity and peace that is instilled in our hearts by...
And then the beat drops. Everybody's rolling on ecstasy at the Vatican. What is this? Come on, Catholics, tighten up. Get your Pope in line. The Pope is ticked. The Pope is raving.
Friendship with Christ. I impart to you my apostolic blessing and entrust each of you to the protection of the Virgin Mary, Mother of the Church and Queen of Peace. And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit come upon you and remain with you always.
Beat drop.
Amen.
Oh, snap. Oh! Look at the people in the crowd. Look, this lady's rolling her eyes. This girl's like, "What is this? We came to celebrate the 75th birthday of Archbishop Bernard Bober, and the Pope now has transported us to an EDM party? What is happening?" Scene from John Wick, actually. This is a month ago. I just found this. That's crazy. Hitler had a genetic sexual disorder. New DNA analysis reveals. Look at this. Look at this DJ. Dancing at the Vatican.
Witness with communion.
Now they're taking communion. Is this person walking up on the stage with a rainbow flag? There's a rainbow flag waving in the audience. Wow. Get your Pope in check, Catholics. What's going on here? What is this? That's ridiculous. All right, guys. That's it for the show, but the new format, what we're going to do is the last segment, if I don't have anything interesting to talk about, we're going to do Q&A. Let's see what questions people ask me. Wait, hold on. How do I do this? Questions. Does 1 + 1... Oh, wait, we got to do the Super Chat ones first. Okay, Super Chats first. For the end of the show, I haven't seen you very long since I haven't been around very long, but did you used to be a hippie? No, I've always been anti-hippie. I did have dreadlocks. I was a pothead, and I would go to the drum circles, but I never liked the people there. I always knew, even though I looked like a hippie, I was a hobo. I did hippie-esque things. I always had a disdain for hippies. Even when I looked like a hippie, I was around hippies, I associated with hippies, but I never liked the hippies. I always hated the smell of sage. I always called the drum circle the scum circle, even when I would go there myself, usually just to like cop. Usually I'd go there to like get some pot, and then I would take it and leave the scum circle and go fishing at the lake nearby. I didn't like hanging out at the scum circle. So even when I was looked, smelled, dressed, acted like a hippie, I always hated the hippies. Never been a hippie. Even before I knew anything about politics, I was right wing. I was a Christian conservative before I knew what a Christian conservative was. So that's that. No, not a hippie. Can't stand sage. If you burn sage around me, I'm going to punch you in the face in Minecraft. I hate burning sage. I can't stand the smell of it. Avarice, we want urban adventures. 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 Don't scam. There are sleep screens. Josh gets 6K shubs and shows his nips. Not going to happen. Go interview some of those loiterers outside the gas station. It's cold, but a short walk. Yeah, I don't know about that. Are you bloody married? Yes, I am legally married. I haven't seen my wife in like 12 years. She's in a different country. It's a long story, but I'm separated for a long time. But yeah, still I haven't done the paperwork and got the divorce yet. So technically I am still legally married, yes. 12 years, successful marriage. You know how you do it? You just move to different countries and you don't talk to them anymore. And then you can have a 12-year successful marriage like me. I've been married for 12 years. You know how I did it? You separate, put a whole country between the two of you, and then you just don't talk to each other. And then your marriage will last forever. I will call you. Dodging. What percentage of your food comes from the gas station? Probably like 10%. Okay, that's all the super chat questions. Now, what did the freeloaders ask me? Does 1 + 1 really equal a window? Is that a riddle, John Barrett? I don't know. Does 1 + 1 really equal a window? I don't know. Is there some sort of code here? I don't get it. I don't think so. Alwyn, why are you so awesome? And how can I be awesome like you? Well, God made me this way. If it's in his plan for you to be awesome as well, just pray that he'll show you the way. And, it's up to him. It's really not up to you. Mark said, can we get an Iranian adventure? No, I'm not going to Iran. I would have to handle a bunch of legal situations before I could even get a passport. So I'm not planning on going to Iran anytime soon. Now, I could take a trip to Minneapolis or Dearborn and go hang out with some Muzzies or some Somalians in America, but I'm not going to Iran. Nope, not going to happen. Was it due to lack of urban adventures that me and my wife separated? No. So stupid. He's so dumb. All right, that's all the questions. Those were easy questions. You guys got to ask me harder questions. Let me go here. Let's end the Q&A thing. Confirm. Did she run due to lack of urban adventures? No, we had plenty of urban adventures. We had too many urban adventures. I think that's one of the reasons our marriage didn't work out, is too many urban adventures from both of us. Some illicit activities was not healthy. He may be smuggled to Hungary, though. First question is the best question. The window one? Freeloaders. Yep. Sage angers demons. No, that's not true. I don't believe that. Sage stinks, and it makes people stink and smell like hippies. It was the lack of urban adventures. No, it was too many urban adventures. We were not We were not living good Christian lives. We were both getting into some not good stuff. Both of us were in the wrong. But there was urban adventures involved from both sides, and it was no bueno. You don't have to lie to kick it. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. Everything I said is the truth. Yes, I'm trying to go to Hungary with a white woman where we can make white babies and we can get $1,000 and a minivan. Hippies anger demons. I don't know. Hippies make demons happy. Demons might be hippies. I don't like hippies. I can't stand hippies. Oh, the first question was the hippie question. Yeah. I did watch the movie Arthur the King. I like it. I got it on digital. I figured you would. If you like dog movies, that's a good one. And it has a happy ending. The dog doesn't die at the end. Great. Last thing I want to see is some, what's that movie with Owen, what's that movie about the dog? It starts with an M. Anyway, like you become attached to this dog and you love this dog the whole movie. And then at the end, the dog dies. And that's the end of the movie. I don't want to watch that. That's a sad movie. What's the movie I'm thinking about? Marley and Me. Yeah, Marley and Me. I ain't trying to watch that. I've never seen that movie, and I don't ever want to watch it. I think I saw like half of it on TV one time, and I stopped watching it because I know how it ends, and I don't want to see that. Nope. Nope, not trying to watch it. Anyway, the dog follows Mark Wahlberg during a race, and at the end, Mark's character adopts the dog. Oh, yeah, that was Mark Wahlberg, huh? Arthur the King? Arthur the King was good because the dog doesn't die at the end. Spoiler alert. Marley and Me is okay, but doesn't the dog die at the end of Marley and Me? I'm not trying to watch that. That's sad. A movie about a dog where the dog dies at the end, I don't want to watch it. Nope. And I do like Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg's a beast. He's like a cross-country racer. Yeah, it's like a great, amazing race type thing where there's like canoeing and then there's hiking and then there's running and then there's biking. And you go but it's like across like 3 countries. I made a JS meme. Well, I'll have to look at it later. That's when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark. This is how we used to make the party start. We used to mix in with Bacardi Dark, and when it kicks in, you can hardly talk, and by the 6th gin, you can probably fall, either somewhere in the lobby or the hallway wall, and everything spinning, you beginning to think women are swimming in pink linen again in the sink, then in a couple of minutes, that bottle of Guinness is finished. You are now allowed to officially slap bitches. Sorry. I like Mark Wahlberg. He's based. Straight up. All right, guys. I'm going to cut it a little early because I'm having some stomach issues and I do got to go to work tonight. And then tomorrow, same time as tonight. I was a little late tonight, but I won't be late tomorrow. Lord. Yes, Old Yeller is another one where the dog dies at the end. That's sad. I'm not trying to see that. What was I going to say? Old Yeller, come back, Yeller. Best doggone dog in the world. West or world? I don't know what they say. But anyway, tomorrow, debate, Venezuela. I'm all prepped up. It's not with the opponent that I wanted. That guy is a bitch, and he backed out, first offender. Scared to debate me. But we're debating Vibe. He's a nice guy. But I wanted to debate a far lefty on the Venezuela topic. I don't think Vibe is a far lefty. I think it's going to be more like libertarian, non-interventionist arguments. Maybe we get into like ethics, and maybe he says something like, well, Christians shouldn't support this because we're hurting innocent Venezuelan people in the process. Loss of life argument. Sirens outside. So I think it's going to be arguments like that, which, whatever, we'll have an ethics debate or a morality debate. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I still think that Trump's actions were justified and it was the right thing to do. But I wanted to debate a far left guy, like First Amender. That's what I was prepared for. But that said, that will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be here. It'll be on Speakeasy channel. I don't know if they're going to be linked. Maybe they'll be linked. I'm going to try to link them up if he has the thing ready yet. And then I can link the streams. That way, if you send Super Chat to me as a question, he can ask it on that show. But whatever's clever, watch it wherever you want to watch it. And we got merch. You see that, Bibby? We got merch. Now, just so you know, right now is just a storefront, and I just was getting it set up, so there's not a lot of options there. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to like like an example storefront, and it's not all set up yet. But if you click catalog, you'll find a few items. Maybe don't get the hoodie yet, because I still want to work on the hoodie and do more stuff to it and have different options and all that eventually. But right now, check out the Dinosaur Pyramid shirt and the Dinosaur Pyramid sticker. King ordered 2 stickers. He's the first order. It's orders 1001. He's the first order. He ordered 2 stickers. So I don't even know how to get paid out on that yet. I don't know how that all works. I think I had to put fill the order. I had to click fill the order, and I clicked fill the order, so it should be going through. I don't know if you've been charged yet. I don't know when you're going to receive it. We're all finding all that out together. I don't know how I get paid for that. So hopefully everything works out. We'll see what happens. But everything that's up there now is subject to change, and there's going to be more in the future. I just got to get the time to put everything together. Auntie's helping me with some ideas. But if you get stuff now, it's the limited early print runs. It's going to be a limited supply. Dino pyramids sound cool, like Turok. Yep. We got the sweater. We got the t-shirt and the stickers. And then there's a hoodie, but the hoodie, I wouldn't recommend buying it's not even a hoodie, I don't think. I don't think it has a hood. I think it's just a sweater. But I'm going to make a hoodie with stuff on the sleeves, stuff on the front, stuff on the back. So maybe don't buy the sweater yet, because there's going to be a better one. But the t-shirt and the sticker are pretty cool. Limited first edition merch. Get it while you can. That's right. But yeah, I'm going to head out, guys. Get ready for work. I remember when you said that, Seesaw was ticked. What'd I say? I don't remember. I think Kieran and Mo Rebuttal are doing a debate right now on Easy's channel. So I'll send you over there. I didn't see the t-shirt. I'll check again. Yeah, you have to click on that link that King sent, and then you have to click on catalog. And there's dinosaur shirt. And it comes in pink and purple for the ladies. But I don't know I don't even know how I get paid on that yet. So I don't know how all that works. We're going to find out. Josh, you're on top chat. No, I'm on live chat. Tell me what I'm on. I'm on live chat. We're going to go over and watch the debate on Speakeasy channel, and I will be there debating tomorrow night. Delete the folder. That's right. But hey, God bless you guys. Thank you for hanging out. It's the Dreaded Conservative Show, Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. And I will see you guys later. Grab that link. Save it in your favorites. And go put some chairs in Speakeasy's chat. God bless you guys. I will see you later. I'm out. Peace. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff is always here to say good show at the very end of the show. He won't say nothing else the whole time. He just says good show at the end of the show. I appreciate you, Jeff Hewitt.